Tessa's POV. It was the next day, and the day before the festival, as myself, Kane, Seth and Aaron all currently sat in Kane's car on the way to go shopping for something to wear tomorrow. Ariana and Talon also unfortunately followed behind us in another car, as I couldn't help but push back the dread that I felt whenever the both of them were around. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but they both seemed to make me feel incredibly unsettled. Ariana shocked me the most after meeting the couple for the first time, with being a fellow human and all. Her attitude was just somewhat arrogant and rude. I immediately found similarities between her and the girls back at school who were unkind to myself and Aaron and made their dislike for us known on a daily basis. Perhaps that could explain the feeling of unease in which I felt from being around Ariana, since she's just like them. I imagined that if the girls back at school were ever to land themselves with a strong male wolf with a high title at a pack, they too would act similar to Ariana. The thought of any of them even being given that chance was unnerving in itself, since they would rightfully abuse that privilege to its full extent. It was clear that Ariana wasn't scared to hold back on giving her opinion, and by the way Kane had warmly greeted them both, I could only force myself to try and form at least some sort of a bond with them, especially if I planned and hoped to stay here in the long run. Aaron thankfully picked up on the same vibes too, also feeling intimidated and on edge around the couple, but we both agreed that we would face it together for Kane and Seth's sake. What sort of stuff do people wear to this festival? Aaron breaks the silence, as Kane picks up some speed on a quieter road, forcing me to hold my seatbelt in anticipation. I hate when he drives this quick, but I wouldn't dare to tell him that when I can't even drive myself. Barely anything, to be honest. Seth gares, as Kane smirks at the comment and shakes his head as I push back the small pang of jealousy that bubbles from the thought. What? So some people just go there naked? Aaron gasps, looking to me in shock horror as though this were another wolf tradition that we hadn't yet heard of. With that, both of them laugh out loudly from the front of the car, as I begin to smile in amusement at Aaron's literal reaction too. Nah, the girls usually just wear bikinis and shit, stuff that's short and revealing, and the guys usually just wear shorts. Seth shrugs, as I nod a little in understanding, staring out of the window to take a glance at the summery surroundings. Much different to the weather back home. Oh. Well, that sounds more fun. Aaron smiles in thought, as Seth raises a brow at her and remains quiet. But you two can kiss that idea goodbye. Kane suddenly warns, turning to flash me a glance before turning back to the road. But what will we both wear then? We will stick out if we dress different to everyone else? Aaron pushes her argument, as my eyes widen at how the pair might receive her statement. Seth clicks his tongue and shakes his head in amusement with her battle, as Aaron glances at me and shrugs a little to silently say it's worth a try. I do agree with her though, the key here is to fit in and not to stand out. I can't even begin to imagine what Ariana will pick to wear too, and would love to avoid being mocked by her in any way. We will see what the stores have. Kane states firmly, cutting the conversation short, before I glance out of the window at the approaching large building, which was probably the largest shopping mall I had ever seen. That's a huge mall. Aaron repeats exactly what I had been thinking as we both sit in the back of the car like two deer caught in the headlights, the building growing larger with the closer we get. We wait patiently, as Kane drives inside of the multi-story parking and finds a SP. OT as close to the front of the mall entrance as possible before cutting the engine and unbuckling his belt. We follow his lead, climbing out of the car, before a silver car pulls up in the space beside us, revealing Talon and Ariana as we hover for a moment to wait on them joining us. Great. Right, let's make this shit fast, I hate it here. Kane grumbles, as I move to Aaron's side and stay behind them as we all walk through the doors to find the bustling space. Tessa, come here. I lift my gaze to see Kane's outstretched hand as I pick up my speed a little in order to reach him. Stay beside me. He leans down towards me and states, giving my hand a squeeze as I nod and allow for him to lead us through the busy shopping center. We stop at a store named Kini first, which immediately screams summer with its neon and pastel pops of color in the windows. Kane pauses, glancing to me and taking note of my excitement before he sighs and decides to take us inside. He releases my hand, allowing me to move around the store as Aaron rejoins my side and we take in the options. This shit's too revealing. Seth grumbles, as we turn to see him holding up a tiny thong bikini with his index finger before dropping it back down into the pile. Aaron chokes back a laugh at the sight of him, as I too start to giggle and continue to look around, finding nothing more than similar skimpy bikinis in many colors. Fuck this store, let's go. Kane suddenly huffs, placing his hand out to me again as I clear my throat and rejoin him, smiling once at the store worker on our exit to be polite. Ariana and Talon had waited for us outside of the store, with Ariana claiming that childish colors isn't her thing, and I couldn't help but wish they had gone shopping elsewhere. No luck in there? Ariana questions with a chuckle, as Kane shakes his head and chooses not to respond as I too avoid further conversation. We walk on, before reaching a second store called Lou Sid Summer, which was still colorful but seemed to have more clothes options as opposed to just swimwear. See, can we get something like that? I mumble up to Kane, pointing with my free hand to an orange skirt and crop top set displayed in the store window. Orange? Oh, please don't. Ariana interjects with a short laugh, as Kane seems to take note of her attitude and glares slightly before turning back to me. Let's go look. Kane states, without a yes or a no, which I nod and decide was better than nothing. Aaron immediately gravitated towards a baby blue set which consisted of a tight mini skirt with a matching long-sleeved bra top which would most likely reveal a lot of cleavage. I watched Seth follow her over, before they seemed to begin debating on the outfit, with Seth humming and thinking heavily on the option. I smiled to myself, enjoying their whole dynamic together, before I moved towards a pink and purple clothing rack, checking out the options there first. I instantly see some sparkles, and pull out a pink strapless bandeau top covered in glimmering sequences as I swish it around in my hand, enjoying the shine. I then move my eyes around the store, trying to find anything that I could wear with it, before finding a cool pair of mom-style denim high-waisted shorts with a pink belt to match the top. Kane remains close to me, seeming to click away on his phone in distraction as I move around and check out different pieces, holding them up before settling on the original choice of the bandeau and shorts. Kane? I turn to him, gaining his attention as he looks up at me and locks his phone, his eyes darting between each hanger displaying both items in my hands. I'll need to see it on Angel, to make sure that those shorts ain't up your ass. Kane instructs, motioning with his head towards the dressing rooms, to which I gulp and nod slowly. He's not even kidding. Erin spots me, and hurries over with two choices in her arms, the Origina L baby blue set and another choice which looked like a white sparkly backless summer dress. He wants me to try these on. Is that where you're going? Erin breathes out, as though she had just sprinted around the mall 10 times, as I giggle and nod, heading in that direction. Ariana was currently moving around the store, seeming to turn her nose up at pretty much everything, as we both stepped into opposite changing rooms to try the outfits on. The shorts were a nice fit, however sat slightly loose at the hips before I tightened the belt a little to give more shape to them. The sparkly top was also a dream on, leaving only a small section of my torso on display, with the shorts being high-waisted and my height itself being quite short. The white one is horrible on me. I hear Erin complain, as I shake my head, knowing that it probably isn't even that bad. She definitely just wants to settle with the blue. You ready to show? Erin calls again moments later. Yeah. I reply, glancing over myself once more before reaching for the curtain to pull it back, finding Erin on the other side. I love it. That's not even bad. Erin claps excitedly, as I take in the blue option on her too. That looks so good on you too. The sleeves and the skirt being high-waisted helps to cover you up a little more. Hopefully they like these. I trail off, chewing my lip as Erin nods and brushes herself off a little. With that, we turn to head back to show Kane and Seth, who both stand expectantly near the changing room entrance. Kane's eyes instantly lock onto me, as he folds his arms tightly across his chest and takes his time to give me a once-over from head to toe, his face stern and revealing nothing. I can tell that you're fucking excited. Is that the one you want? What happened to the white? Seth laughs at Erin's grinning face, as she shrugs a little. Wasn't nice on, Erin huffs, as Seth shakes his head and waves her off playfully. Go take it off in. We will buy that one then. Seth confirms, as my eyes widen and I turn back to Kane expectantly. Please agree to this one. Fine. Is all he says with a curt nod, as my heart sinks a little from the flat response, despite that he had agreed to it. Are you sure? I can find something else? I shuffle nervously from foot to foot as he sighs. You look good, just too good. I'll be a jealous man tomorrow. He confirms, as my cheeks blush and I bite back a smile. With that, I rush back to change quickly before he can even change his mind, thankful that myself and Erin would hopefully somewhat fit in tomorrow now for all of our sakes. Tessa's POV, I'm sure glad that you brought some makeup here with you. Erin hums, glancing over her appearance once more as for the first time since being here, she looked back to her normal self. She had her glow back, showing her glam and girly side today, which Seth hadn't yet had the chance to see. Could you take these rollers out for me? I question, checking the bedside clock to see that we had 15 minutes left before we were due to leave for the festival. Erin maneuvers around to me, before working her way across my head, carefully removing each roller before styling it to sit in a perfect curl for me on top of my head. Erin's hair was down and straight whilst mine's was bouncy and curly like a 60s supermodel's hair, which I absolutely adored. Okay, we look good. Panic over. Erin stands back to admire my final look before turning to admire herself once more in the mirror. I hand her the correct shoebox, taking out my own pair too, as Erin was one size bigger than me. Kane and Seth had very kindly offered to buy us both some fresh white shoes to wear to the festival, since they were buying some new sneakers for themselves too. Ultimately, we had been truly spoiled. They've been really kind with all of this, such a difference to Leo, Erin states, shaking her head in memory of how her time here at this pack had initially started out. I know, right? You and Seth are perfect together. I compliment, watching her pull a face as she blushes heavily at the mention of Seth, hopefully soon to be her new suitor. Here's hoping that things are straightforward enough that he can actually just keep me around for a trial period after we go back. Erin sighs, tying up her laces as I pull the tissue out from the inside of my own sneakers and loosen them out. Everything will work out exactly how it's meant to, trust me. I nod firmly, placing my feet in each shoe before quickly tying them up myself. We both stand, enjoying the freshness of the whole outfit and sneakers combined, before we use a quick last spray of deodorant and perfume each as one of us sprays whilst the other twirls before we switch. We head downstairs, finding the guys waiting expectantly as Kane checks his watch before his eyes look up to meet mine as I descend the staircase. His lips part ever so slightly as he shuffles around to fully face me, watching me carefully as I can't help but pray not to fall down the stairs or not to do something stupid. I hope this is a good reaction, and that he doesn't wind up telling me to get back upstairs to change. Ready? I push a smile as I near him, taking note of how good he looks in his sage green swim shorts which stopped mid-thigh to showcase his muscular tattooed legs, along with his crisp white tee, white sneakers, and white Nike socks, tattoos all on full display. You look too fucking hot. I shouldn't be taking you anywhere like this, Kane states loudly with a huff, as Anthony laughs from beside us and shakes his head at the outburst, which causes my face to redden, probably redder than it ever has before. Hurry up, you lot, the car's been waiting for 10 minutes. We turn to find Talon as he sticks his head in from outside, bringing me crashing back to reality that the both of them would again be hanging out with us. Oh day. Talon was proving to be more tolerable out of the pair, but Ariana on the other hand was on another level, seeming to make it more and more difficult for myself and Erin to find a single topic in common with her. Don't get out of my sight today, Angel, understand? Those other males can get seriously rowdy at these sort of events. Kane leans down to whisper in my ear as I chew my lip and nod at the warning. He's being possessive, and why do I sort of enjoy that side to him? He obviously cares about my safety. Oh, okay. I squeak, as he chuckles and straightens himself back up again, his hand finding the small of my back as he pushes me forward to lead us both outside to find a huge limousine vehicle with a suited driver standing waiting. Whoa. This is awful fancy for a festival. We walk towards the car, as I lock eyes with Erin, who flashes me a grin of excitement, making my heart skip seeing her back to her normal happy self, exactly how I've always known her, thanks to Seth. We climb in, finding the spacious leather interior and drinks on arrival, lights glimmering and upbeat music playing to set the whole atmosphere for the day. This was like nothing I had ever experienced before, as I stilled for a moment to take it all in, completely ignoring Ariana's intense stare from the bottom of the limousine as she sat comfortably beside Talon, both dressed again in darker clothing. Was that their thing? Wearing black together? I jump a little hearing Kane cough from behind me, before I realize I had been holding everyone up. I offer a quick apology first before I move to sit in the sort of middle area of the car, not wanting to get too close to Ariana and Talon but also not wanting to be rude either, and sit as far away from them as possible. Erin immediately joins my side, as Kane sits opposite me, as does Seth. Anthony climbs in and sits at the bottom end to complete the circle seating arrangement between us all. Let's get this part. Why started? Drinks? Anthony cheers, being closest to the drinks cooler that was stacked to the brim with colorful cans and mini bottles of what looked to be wine. At the mention of alcohol, I glance over at Kane to find him already staring at me. I knew he had let me try my first cocktail recently but didn't want to assume I could drink any alcohol now whenever I wanted. Maybe that could get annoying for him? As if reading my mind, he offers me a nod to which I smile a little in understanding, turning back to Anthony. Beers for the big lads. Anthony commends, tossing the cans around to each of the males as we feel the car start up and begin to move. What will it be for you ladies? Anthony questions, glancing at the stock as Aaron turns to look at me slightly flustered. Kane, can she I mumble, attempting to save her a little as Kane looks to Seth and they both nod nonchalantly. Okay, great. I'll look at them. Needing the all clear to have a little drink. Tell me, do they ask you first to use the toilet too, Kane? Ariana cackles loudly, as Talon chuckles deeply from beside her as though the mockery was just a harmless joke. Tell me, Ariana, do you remember being on your trial period? That time you cried and begged us not to kill you because you thought you had made Talon's coffee wrong? I bet you can remember how daunting it can be, right? Kane suddenly laughs loudly, as does Seth and Anthony, which only adds fuel to the fire that ignites behind Ariana's eyes. Talon finds the encounter to be harmless, as he nudges her side playfully and joins in on the laughter as she rolls her eyes and remains quiet. It seems she has forgotten herself after hearing Kane's response. Give them something fruity. Kane tells Anthony, who nods and fishes around before pulling out 2 pink-colored cans, choosing not to acknowledge Ariana's comment any further. Let them try this gin and lemonade can? Girls like that shit, don't they? Anthony shrugs. Before leaning over to pass them both to Aaron as she turns to hand one to me. I've never heard of gin before, but it says that it's pink? Suits me. Ariana? What will it be? Anthony involves her again, as she clears her throat, seeming to push back her annoyance. Wine. Is all she replies in a clipped tone, as Anthony pulls out the smaller bottle and passes it up the car to her. We crack open the cans, as Seth seems to click around on a touch screen before the music changes and a dance beat begins to play before the volume is turned up. Let's have some fun today. Cheers. Seth yells loudly, holding out his can, as I squint a little at what he was doing before seeing Kane laugh and clink his can off of his. We all do the same, before I take my first sip of the gin, as does Aaron. I swallow, clicking my tongue a little before deciding that I actually really liked it. It's nice. Aaron comments, as I nod and agree, us both greedily drinking some more to enjoy the new feeling of being a little bit wild. Taking Ariana out of the equation, this had so far started out as a pretty significant day for myself and Aaron. This was like living a serious dream, us both being here together with 2 decent males on our way to a party in the sun. It seriously can't get any better than this, can it? Tessa's POV pulling up to the festival was daunting. As the second the limousine doors were opened, we were greeted with scorching sun, the sound of loud music, and hundreds, if not thousands, of male and females all eagerly dressed in bright colors for the occasion. All except from Ariana and Talon, of course, who sported a darker look. Ariana showed off her figure in a short black tennis skirt with silver sparkles over it, along with what looked to be a black bikini top, completing the look with chunky black biker boots. If she wasn't intimidating before, then she sure as hell looked the part now. Tickets? The short man guarding the entry gate recs. TS, before Kane overtakes me and presents himself to him boldly, shoulders squared. Don't need them. Kane retorts, as my jaw nearly hits the floor at his blunt response. Surely we still need to buy tickets to get in though, right? He can't just waltz up to him like this? Oh, Alpha. Yes, sorry, didn't see you there. You're always on the VIP list. Please go on right ahead. The man's eyes bulge as he peers up at Kane from his clipboard, quickly bowing his head and pushing the green button to open the small gate as I gape at the scene before me. Kane thanks him briefly, as we all follow in behind him, my heart pounding at the number of now wandering eyes. People had most definitely took note that the Alpha was here now, and with us for that matter, as many nearby females seemed to stare through me curiously. Of course he would be a damn VIP around here. It was silly of me to even think otherwise. I'll have to just get used to this if he does decide to keep me around for the long run. After walking into the festival further, I take the time to glance around at the large carnival rides, which were much bigger and way more extravagant than anything I had ever seen back at our own yearly winter fair, which only consisted of a carousel, a small Ferris wheel, and a few handmade stalls with some games. I gawked at the nearby roller coaster as it shot around the track quickly, with the riders screaming and throwing their hands around with its movements. This whole setup was wild. What do you want to do first? I jump when hearing Kane question suddenly in my ear, as I blink profusely and stare around. I have no idea. I admit, feeling slightly overwhelmed with the number of activities surrounding us, accompanied by the still wondering eyes of everyone within our proximity. Let's start at some of the stalls then, see what I can win you, eh? Kane nudges me slightly as I blush, before guiding me towards a large stall with masses of prizes to be won, from giant bears to sweets and even alcohol bottles. The stall beside it was a little duck game with a hook, guaranteeing a winner every time, no matter what, whether it were a small pack of sweets to a major prize like money or perfume. Why don't you do the ducks and I'll try this? Kane suggests, nodding across to the guy running the duck stall as he nods back knowingly before moving to grab a hook down for me. Aaron joins my side, as both Kane and Seth gear up to smash some stacked glass bottles in their own little game. Taking the hooks from the man, he quickly explains that each duck has a number underneath to match one of the displayed prizes as we nod along. Pretty simple. I glance over at all of the bobbing ducks, watching them hobble around the small water pool in a circle, all different colors and sizes. You go first, Aaron. I whisper, growing shy as she chuckles and nods, stepping up to hook her first pick being a large green duck. She hoists it up successfully as the guy chuckles and moves to retrieve it from her hook, turning it under to reveal a number 32 as our eyes race to find the chosen prize. There. I point, finding the largest bar of chocolate I had ever seen. Oh my. Suits me. Aaron giggles, as the guy grabs a small stool and reaches up to retrieve it from its display, coming back to hand it to her. I turn to watch the boys cheering and hollering at one another as they grow competitive and glass can be heard smashing every so often. I use the short time to take note of Kane's smiling face, lost in the moment and seeming to be having fun. This day so far was nice. Right at your go, girl. Aaron encourages, as I giggle loudly at her trying to hold the ridiculous chocolate bar in her arms. I seriously didn't even know that they sold them that size. With that, I clutch my hook and approach the desk, getting as close to it as possible in order to reach my choice of duck better. Stretching out the who. I glance over all of the rubber ducks before settling on my original choice of a basic yellow one which was much smaller than the rest. I wish we could take the duck home too, since it was so damn cute. I try to hook it, missing the small ring the first time before hooking it again, jumping a little to find it successfully dangling from the stick as I lift it upwards. Aaron laughs, as I wait patiently for the guy to check it as he fumbles to get it freed. 100. Oh, that's a good one. He comments with a wink, as I gasp and my eyes widen excitedly. I had never won anything big at a carnival before. This was a first. I felt like a little kid. I watch the man with my eyes, before he moves across to a locked box containing 3 different prize envelopes with numbers 25, 50 and 100 on the fronts. Unlocking it with a small key around his neck, before grabbing the one with my number, he returns to me and hands it over with a smile. Open it. Aaron rushes excitedly the moment that it touches my fingers, as I laugh and fumble with the white paper to unseal it. I separate the sides, taking a peek inside only to find notes of money, and way more than I had ever anticipated to say the least. I thought that maybe it would be $10 or maybe even 20. Not this. I can't take this. My eyes widen, suddenly feeling guilty as I stare back at the stall runner. What? It's yours. Of course you can. How much is it anyway? I find Kane approach me, overhearing my conversation before he takes the envelope from my grasp and pulls the notes out. He flips through it, counting it up for me, before nodding and pulling a sort of proud face. $200. Not bad for your first hook a duck game, Angel. Kane commends, thanking the stall runner as my cheeks heat and I thank him shyly. Why do I feel like I shouldn't accept it despite having won the money fair and square? Come over here now and choose a prize. Kane states, taking me by my wrist and pulling our attention over to the bottle smash stall. It turns out Kane and Seth had both won their games and they decided to let myself and Aaron choose a prize each, like something from a romantic novel. I was seriously spoiled these past weeks. Even if Kane doesn't choose to progress with me, he had given me the most perfect experience nonetheless, totally changing my view of male wolves. I glance up over the options, before settling for a pink heart plush teddy with a cute face on it. The other guy grabs it down for me, as Aaron agrees and chooses the red one for herself for us to both be matching. Give me all of the stuff and I can have one of my men take it back to the car for us so that we don't have to carry it around. Kane informs me, as I thank him for winning the prize for me and hand him that along with my money envelope. To my surprise he whistles, causing a large and terrifying male to run over out of nowhere as he and Seth hand over the stuff, seeming to give him brief instructions before he nods and walks off with it all. I didn't even think that Kane would have men following him around. I guess it's just his warriors for extra security with him being the alpha and all. But it made me shiver as I stared around trying to work out who they were amongst the crowds. Where did the others go? Aaron questions, as I bring my attention back to the group to notice that Anthony, Talone and Ariana were all gone. The bar, let's go grab a drink with them and then maybe we can go on some rides. I'm assuming that you both haven't been on a roller coaster before? Kane states the obvious as we both nod, causing for him and Seth to make eyes in amusement. I'm guessing from the screaming and speed of them that they are pretty scary? I sort of wished that we could keep the day as just us four, since the energy was much more positive and less intense, but I wouldn't dare to admit that to Kane. After all, Talon was. His family and Ariana was a part of that deal too. Anthony, however, was harmless. But we still have the full day ahead of us, I guess, so perhaps we will split up a little later, right? Tessa's POV 3 roller coasters later amongst other rides around the carnival, and we now sat in another outdoor bar eating some fresh salted fries which were divine. Count me in for the dancing over at Sally's bar, Ariana states firmly, glancing around at the males whilst they all collectively groan and roll their eyes at the suggestion. What's Sally's bar? I wonder. The group as a whole got drunker as the day had went on, as we laughed at pointless stuff, and I could feel myself becoming more confident than what I usually am, which was definitely odd. Is this what being drunk feels like? Perhaps I need to be drunk permanently in that case. Yeah, sure, you can go and we will stay right here, Talon responds, as Ariana giggles and twirls her hair innocently. Sure. I'll take those two with me for some real fun, Ariana suggests, catching me off guard as Erin almost chokes on her pink gin from beside me. She wants to hang out with us now? I seriously did not get that impression. Is it a trap? Okay, fine. But you go over there together and nowhere else, Kane states firmly, his eyes flashing to me as I nod instantly, not wanting to disagree or upset him or Ariana for that matter. Maybe after some wine, she has realized that myself and Erin could very well be here to stay. Maybe this is her way of apologizing for our rocky start? I guess the least we could do would be to give her a chance, right? Great. Finish your drinks, girls, show starts over at Sally's in 10. Ariana rushes, pointing over to the pink barn type of building with pink and purple strobe lights glimmering out of it. It's not too far, and I had wondered what that place was with it being pink and all. Kane and the others could see over to where we would be, so not much could go wrong. What's the worst that could happen under Ariana's care? I mean, seriously, I don't think Kane would be too happy if she hurt us in any way or made us upset, which would kill the whole vibe of the day too. With that, I give Erin a quick let's do it look before we both clink glasses and shoot the remainder of our third drink back. These pink gins were proving to be totally lethal. They tasted great, but I could definitely feel the effects of drinking them already. Kane, however, didn't seem to mind much as they would hand us another each time after they visited the bar. Let's go. Be back soon, guys. Ariana stands, as I push myself up with a small wobble before I steady myself and giggle, with Kane eyeing me steadily. I hook arms with Erin, as we say a short goodbye and follow behind Ariana towards the pink girly party. The closer we got, the more confusing it seemed, as I wouldn't ever place Ariana to enjoy being in a place as pink and as girly as this. But who was I to judge? I barely knew her. We go inside, seeing masses of females dancing around and having fun, which put me at ease a little more considering that everyone seemed like they only wanted to have a good time. No way. Ariana? Oh my gosh. I didn't think you'd make it this year. Who's this? A preppy brown-haired girl rushes at us, as she offers myself and Erin a quick stare before pulling Ariana into a tight hug. I'm babysitting. Ariana huffs with an eye roll, as I look to Erin to ensure she had also heard the sarky comment. The nice attitude didn't last very long at all. Well, come on. You can all come over and sit with us, the girl states, grabbing Ariana by her hand as myself and Erin again just plod along behind her like lost puppy dogs. We are greeted by a group of 3 other girls and a guy who seemed quiet yet intense as he chose to observe rather than to greet us. Ariana squeezes into the booth-style seating beside the group, seeming as happy as ever for TH. The first time, as she clearly knew these people well. Myself and Erin hovered beside them for a moment, not having seats to sink down and hide into, and it only took Ariana a short moment to notice. Fucking hell, stop being so weird and grab a chair from over there. Ariana waves us off with a groan, causing the group to disappointingly giggle at the comment, proving to be just as mean and ignorant as Ariana herself. We stay quiet, and make a move to fetch the chairs, using the time to complain about how she was being in here. What's the deal? She could have came over here herself to see her friends. She didn't have to drag us too. I might just tell her we are going back, Erin states firmly, as I nod and sigh. I knew this was too good to be true. I shouldn't have gave her the chance. We sit down beside their table, being completely ignored for what felt like an hour, before Erin perked up from beside me and cleared her throat. Ariana, we are going to go back, Erin states, as Ariana's icy blonde head snaps around to give us both a death stare that reads, "Don't fucking dare." But the show hasn't even started yet? And I put down your names, Ariana informs us, as my jaw slackens at the comment and Erin's brows furrow. What show, and why did she give our names for it? What? I blunder, feeling my head spin a little from either the encounter itself or from the alcohol, perhaps a mix of both? She does that a lot, the stutter drives me insane, although I thought it was a thing she only put on to look cute for the males, but it seems that it's actually a real problem. Ariana explains loudly, her tone condescending as I grow embarrassed with the odd stares that I receive from the group. Great, just what I needed. Ladies, I have a Tess and Aaron on my list here. An older man appears wearing a black and white tuxedo, as my mouth opens and closes like a fish out of water. Right there. Ariana cuts in with a point. Before Aaron even has the chance to defend us both. What is she doing this for? Perfect, come with me. I hope you two have some seriously nice racks for this, you might even win. He chuckles, moving to score our names with his pen before pulling us both by the bicep to stand. Aaron. I panic, as she also looks startled, our attempts to say no being overshadowed by the hysterical laughter of the group beside us. This isn't good. What has she done? What is this show she's tossed us into? Let's just get back there and we can make a dash for it. Aaron whispers worriedly, as I nod frantically and allow the man to guide us through a black curtain into a small room with around 8 other females all stood around. They seem to be changing into white tees, as the men tossed the garments around. What are we doing? Aaron asks the man, receiving a loud laugh in response before he grabs a pair of scissors. Let me help you both get over the nerves. He chuckles, moving behind us swiftly before 2 clips are heard causing us both to scream. Did he just? Why did he just? We both stood clutching the material of our tops to our breasts, feeling exposed and horrified at what was happening. If you don't want to flash us, then you better put these on. The man laughs, handing us both the same white tees as the rest of the females. Feeling embarrassed and overwhelmed, I quickly moved to face one of the walls, pulling the tee over my head and allowing my top from before to fall from my body as it lands in a heap at my feet. Aaron copied me, as we both made eyes and searched for an escape route, only finding the curtain to be blocked by a huge male. Okay ladies, climb inside of the wet cages and may the best breasts win. He suddenly announces with a clap of his hands, as my head spins and we turn to find steps leading into large cages attached to vans. And no, we don't want to. I stop the man from passing us, pleading to leave, as he rolls his eyes and huffs. Well, I don't give a shit. I had 10 spots filled up and you two were on the list, so don't disappoint me now. He sneers, before he clicks his fingers and a larger man approaches and pushes us both towards one of the cages with another girl inside. The sun was setting, and my heart hammered inside of my chest at the thought of Ariana leaving us to suffer through whatever this was to completely ruin the amazing day we had both had. She had crossed the line, and I seriously feared the consequences of this stunt.